Hey there everyone, so Anthropic has released Claude Sonnet 4.5. According to them, it is the best coding model in the world, even surpassing its bigger brother Opus 4.1. If you head over to my website and go to model recommendations, you can see the best model according to me for backend and front-end coding is Opus 4.1. But they are saying Sonnet 4.5 is even better than that. We'll see if this is true. They also say that they have substantial gains in reasoning and math. So we'll be looking at all of those things. We'll be first having a look at the benchmarks, then the reasoning performance of this model and coding. So first off, let's look at SweBench verified core. Here you can see if you just ignore these light colored scores because they are using parallel test time compute. If we ignore that, you can see still Sonnet 4.5 is the best in this test, comfortably beating Opus 4.1, which was the previous best. If you go down in the blog post, you can see all the benchmarks that are mentioned and score of various models. So you can pause and have a look at all of the benchmarks. But one thing that is particularly interesting is have a look at GPQA Diamond score. Opus 4.1 scores 81, whereas Sonnet 4.5 even surpasses that and scores 83.4. Being a smaller model, it was able to beat Opus in reasoning. Just for reference, Claude 4 Sonnet scored 76.1. So that is a very big jump. Is that true? Is Sonnet actually smarter than Opus 4.1? Let's have a look. So I have four very hard questions, and the models that you see right over here, any other model other than these is not able to perform very good at it. So these are very, very hard problems. I have tested each model on each question 10 times and I've seen how many times do they get it right. You can head over to my website yjxai.in and you can have a look at all these questions. So I'm not going to go one by one because it will take some time and there's a lot of stuff that we have to do in this video. Let's particularly focus on two models, Claude Opus 4.1 and Claude Sonnet 4.5. You can see them right over here towards the end. Now you might be wondering, I have two different names for Claude Sonnet 4.5. One is in LM Arena and other is in Open Router. The reason is that I think in LM Arena we have Claude Sonnet 4.5 in medium thinking setting, that is 16K and not 64K, which is the maximum thinking tokens for Sonnet 4.5. And that is the reason the video is kind of late, because I initially tested it on LM Arena, and if you compare the scores with Opus 4.1, you can see in the first question Opus scores 8 and Sonnet scores 6, so 2 points behind. In the third question again you can see Opus scores 2 whereas Sonnet 4.5 scores 0. At this point I was thinking that okay, Sonnet 4.5 is not that good, but what happened is I hit rate limit in LM Arena and then I switched to Open Router and I kept the thinking settings to high, and then I saw that in the last question Opus 4.1 scored a 9 out of 10 and Claude Sonnet 4.5 scored a 9 out of 10 as well. So then I had some doubts that maybe LM Arena is not able to fully appreciate the capability of Claude Sonnet 4.5. So I ran the whole test again, keeping in high settings and in Open Router, and that did cost me a lot. So if you are enjoying this video, please do hit the like button and hype this video, and if you want to support me, I truly welcome that. And you can see the scores do take a turn. In the first question, where Opus 4.1 scored 8, the Sonnet 4.5 on LM Arena scored 6. On Open Router, Claude Sonnet 4.5 scored a 10 on 10. Again in the third problem you can see Opus scored 2 and Sonnet 4.5 scored 2 as well, showing that this model is a step up improvement in reasoning. And let me say that the biggest difference compared to its previous version is not especially in coding but in reasoning and max. That is where Anthropic models were lacking. They were very much focused into coding. They still seem to be focusing that because the first sentence that they are having in their blog post is that it is the best coding model in the world. But Sonnet 4.5 seems to be in the right direction. The model is performing substantially better in reasoning and max. Let me actually go into the leaderboard and let's have a look where each model stands. So in my reasoning test, the best model until now is Grok for reasoning, scoring a 27 out of 40, followed by GPT-5, just slightly behind, scoring 26 out of 40, and Claude Sonnet 4.5 scores a 21 out of 40. You can see Opus was in the 6th rank and Sonnet 4 is nowhere to be found, and you can see Claude Sonnet 4.5 surpasses Grok 4 fast reasoning Gemini 2.5 Pro to take the 3rd spot. Absolutely insane. So this was about the reasoning of the model. What about the claim that it is the best coding model and even better than Opus 4.1? Well, let's actually have a head on between these two models. Towards my left, you can see Sonnet 4.5 on the Claude interface, and towards my right, we have Opus 4.1 in LM Arena. So we'll be using the Claude interface up until the point we don't hit a rate limit. If we hit a rate limit, then we can switch to Open Router. So the first question is, can you draw a dragon in a web page using HTML, CSS and JS? So side view of the dragon and give your best implementation in one single code. So let's send this and let's see what they do. Okay everyone, we have got the responses and have a look. Both have given us a very good response. We are clearly able to see that we are seeing a dragon, and so to find a difference we will have to nitpick. You can see the toes are not properly rendered in Opus response. It only has one nail, whereas comparatively Sonnet is better at it, and it is actually hard to pick which one is better. So we'll give a point to both of them. Let's move on to the next question. Next is, build the absolute best implementation of Super Mario game in a web page without using any external assets and in one single code. So let's send this and let's see what we get. Okay everyone, so it tried to give me a code, but it was incomplete and it asked me to hit continue, and it tried to continue it, but the code is kind of broken, it doesn't end clearly. Here the HTML code ends and then again some part of it starts. But I think we can copy this part and open it up in HTML viewer. Okay, so the responses are ready guys. Let's start off with Opus 4.1. I'll hit start game, and okay, I'm actually not able to play. It does say start game, but the game is not visible. So nothing much to say. We'll actually look at Sonnet's response and then decide if we have to do a retry. Okay, we do see Mario and I'm able to move. The animation and all seems very smooth. I'm able to kill the enemies as well, and the game is very smooth guys, I have to say that. I'm able to take the power-ups. Although not much is going on, but it is a working response whatsoever. You can see we also have variations in enemies. I think it is some kind of a snail or something over here. I'm not able to collect coins from here because it is too high. Yeah, but an awesome response from Sonnet 4.5. It is a win. Let's move on to another problem. Okay, so next up, let's actually ask them to create a landing page. You can have a look. Let's see what they come up with. Okay, everyone, we have got the responses, and this is what Opus has generated. Let me actually preview this again, and you can actually see what happens. When I open the website, you can see the words kind of appear like this, which is kind of cheesy. I do like the cursor is mapped into a leaf. It says 2806 happy plants finding new homes. But this leaf cursor is kind of glitchy. Sometimes the original one is visible. It has tried to do something over here. I don't know what is that. You can see we see different kinds of plants and prices for them. I have to say it doesn't look like a professional website, looks more like a cartoon. You can have a look at these symbols: water, sun and temperature. You can see if we have two suns, it means that it needs more sunlight, and two drops means it needs more water or something like that. The explanation of these symbols is not there, so one has to actually infer from it. It says find your perfect plant match. What is your experience level? Beginner, intermediate, plant killer and expert. In the below footer we can see we have growing hours and all of the stuff. If you look into the background, you can see a lot of leaf and various such things are falling. It has had a subtle background like that. So this is what we have got from Opus 4.1. We'll keep this aside and let's try Sonnet 4.5. So this is what Sonnet 4.5 has generated. Right off the back you can see it looks more polished and professional. It says explore our collection, and if I click that, of course it's not going to lead us anywhere. So this has a more professional look. Yeah, this circling kind of animation, I don't like it. You can see when I hover over them, these icons, they kind of rotate, so I don't like that. Even Sonnet 4.5 has actually come up with some background elements, it seems. You can see this cube. I don't know if it's visible in the recording or not because it's very subtle. So nothing much going on in Sonnet's response. It does look clean, but I mean, when you don't have any kind of stuff, then it will be clean anyways. So personally, I would prefer Opus response in this one. Let's move on to another problem. So next up, we are asking create the best possible 3D flight simulator game with chase camera view and 3D environment in HTML, CSS and JS and in one single code. So let's send this and let's see what we get. Okay everyone, we have got the responses. So let's actually look at Opus first. You can see we have the plane kind of thing over here, and we are able to move it as well. It's kind of going through the mountain, so I'll have to fix it a bit. Okay, now it seems to be a bit better. You can see we have very good implementation of clouds. We can change the camera mode as well. This is kind of cinematic view, and this is the front view, I guess. But you can see the plane is not correctly oriented. So let's keep this aside and let's move on to Sonnet 4.5. We'll open it up in full screen and let's have a look. Okay, so you can see we have a chase camera view, exactly what we asked for. We can change the camera. So let's set this at this setting. Currently you can see the blades are not rotating. If I hit throttle, you can see they are starting to rotate and I'm able to move. Let's kind of go into the sky. You can see it's slightly lifting. The plane is correctly oriented. That is something that I like. But although it doesn't look more like a plane, let me kind of go into the sky. You can see we are going near the clouds. We have mountains as well. You can look at the beautiful environment that it has created. So all in all, it is a working response. The orientation of the plane is actually better in Sonnet's response. So I'll give this win to Sonnet. But although both have done a very good job. Let's move on to next question. So let's try something that the Claude models have not been able to do it yet, and we'll see if that changes with Sonnet 4.5. So we are asking them to create a simulation of a rocket launch from a launch station landing onto the moon. So let's see how they do. Okay everyone, we have got the responses. Let's actually look at Opus first. So we'll test this in full screen. So it says initiate launch. So I've already selected initiate launch. It says 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and lift off. You can see the rocket goes into the sky, and I think have a look over here guys. The distance to moon is actually increasing instead of decreasing. So as I said, anthropic models have not been able to do this. I mean, many other models are not able to do this. The only ones that I know is Gemini 2.5 Pro. So I don't know where the rocket has went. So there's nothing much to see. Let's keep that aside and let's actually try Sonnet 4.5. So we'll preview this on a new screen, and this is what we see. You have Earth and a rocket. Although scaling doesn't match, but anyways, let's launch the rocket. It says ignition, and you can see the rocket is very slowly launching. Comparatively, the animation is way better. So now you can see Earth is slightly moving out of view, but the distance to moon is not getting reduced guys. It is kind of stuck. Okay, now it says translunar injection, and now the distance is starting to decrease. So let's wait for a while and I'll tell you if anything happens. Okay, guys, now you can see some time has elapsed and now we are seeing moon in view towards the top. Let's wait for a while and see if something happens. So now you can see it says distance to moon is 0 kilometer. It says successfully landed on moon, but we are not on moon. We are just in the space. So it's not a completely working response, and it doesn't defeat Gemini 2.5 Pro in this particular question. But when you compare it against Opus 4.1, it is a clear win. So in this particular question, we'll give a win to Sonat 4.5. Let's move on to the next question. Next up, we are asking them to create a trading view like dashboard, with simulated tick by tick data and everything that is needed in such kind of a dashboard. Let's see what they come up with. So Opus is actually generating, but I'm facing some issues in Claude's interface, so I'll switch to Open Router. Okay everyone, we have got the response. Let's actually look at Opus 4.1 first. So we'll preview this in a new page, and okay, this is what we have. You can see the chart is updating tick by tick. We have order book. We can see simulated trades. I think this moon icon at the top denotes night mode and dark mode, light mode and dark mode, but I'm not able to switch that. Let's try to change the time frame. Usually when we increase the hours, going from 1 hour to 4 hour and 1 day, the chart should actually become less dense, but that is not happening. We can switch to a line chart as well. It looks a bit messy, doesn't it? Let's see what else we have. We have the option to add an indicator. We can add smooth moving average, and you can see smooth moving average is added. We can also add Bollinger Bands, and Bollinger Band is added. We can add RSI, and you can see we have actually RSI at the bottom. It appeared for a while and then went. We can add exponential moving average and all of that stuff. We can draw trend lines as well. I tried to draw, but it just appears for a while. We can draw vertical lines, horizontal lines, but all these are momentary. We can add text, I guess, but it is not working. It is not the best response that Opus has given, but it is a working one. So let's keep this aside and let's actually try Sonnet 4.5. We'll preview this in a new page, and okay, again we see a similar kind of response over here. You can see the chart is updating tick by tick. That is nice. We can change this into a line chart. So comparatively, you can see it is a bit more cleaner and easy to understand. We have area chart and bar chart. Let's see what happens when we change the time frame. So if I change to 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 1 hour, 4 hour and 1 day, we see similar kind of thing. Maybe the density of the candles is same because the time frame is actually changing. Have a look at the bottom. If I change the time frame, you can see the time at the bottom is actually changing. We can actually buy and sell as well. So let's hit place order. It says please enter a valid amount. So we'll enter a valid amount and we'll hit place order, and it says buy order placed successfully. And now you can see down in positions we have an order. I'm trying to change the stock, but it's not changing. Okay, it does change after a while. I can draw trend lines as well, I guess. So let's see. Okay, So now you can see a trend line has been actually drawn. We can also draw horizontal lines. We also have Fibonacci sequence, but I'm not able to draw it. Let's look at the indicators. We have smooth moving average. We have exponential moving average. We can toggle them. That is nice. We have Bollinger Bands. We have RSI. I'm not able to have a look at RSI because it is getting hidden at the bottom. We also have MACD. All in all, both have given us similar kind of responses, but you can see the trend lines and horizontal lines are kind of being persistent in Claude 4.5 Sonnet's response, and this one feels a bit more polished. So comparatively, again, I would say that Claude 4.5 Sonnet is better. Let's move on to the next question. So next up, we are asking Python based problems. So in this question, they have to draw a hollow circle with an opening. There are two balls inside it, and whenever a ball exits, two new balls appear. So they have to generate this animation. I'm trying on LM Arena again. I hope it works because Opus 4.1 is very costly to run on open router. By the way, if you are liking this video, please do hit the like button and also hype this video. Having said that, let's send this question and we'll see if it works on LM Arena. If it doesn't, then I'll test it on open router. Okay, we have got the responses from both models. Let's actually look at Opus first. We'll paste the code and we'll run it. So we have two balls and you can see whenever a ball exits, two new balls are appearing. The opening is not very clearly mentioned. You can see when the number of balls increases, they're getting kind of clumsy over here. See, they are forming kind of lumps, which is not a very good thing. So this is what we have from Opus. Let's keep this aside and let's look at Sonnet. We'll copy the code, we'll paste that and let's run it. Okay, we have two balls. We also have an opening and it's kind of open. Let's see if that's the actual opening or it's mentioned somewhere else. Okay, a ball exited and two new balls are appearing. We have distinct sounds as well. So similarly like Opus, it has given us a working response, but we'll have to wait to see what happens when a lot of balls accumulate. You can see a lot of balls have actually accumulated, but still we don't see any kind of lump formation or anything like that. Let's wait a bit longer. You can see even at this many balls, it is not kind of falling apart. The simulation is working fine. So I think comparatively, Sonnet 4.5 was better in this one. That is a win for Sonnet 4.5. Let's move on to the next question. Next up, we are asking write a Python program that simulates Earth's rotation. So let's see which one gives us a better response. Okay, everyone, we have got the responses. I actually used Open Router for Claude Sonnet 4.5 because I was facing some issues. Anyways, let's start off with Opus 4.1. We'll paste the code and we'll run it. Okay, and we have an Earth simulation. You can see some kind of land masses and all of that stuff. We have an Earth and this is a very nice 3D environment. We also have a moon. I'm not sure if it's revolving around the Earth or not, but you can see the day and the night difference. Other than that, the stats I think are not visible clearly. Having said that, let's move on to Sonnet 4.5. We'll paste the code and we'll run it. And we have a working code. Nowadays, models have become so good that they are giving us a working response, guys, for this question. If you are a long time subscriber, you might be knowing that many models previously were not able to even give us a working response, but that seems to be changing. The moon is moving and we have an Earth, but it's kind of distorted, I guess. It has tried to implement atmosphere using these pointy lines, but even that is not correctly mapped on the Earth. We can zoom in and zoom out as well, but it is kind of glitchy and it is taking much resources to load, and now you can see it is kind of stuck. So clearly there is no doubt Opus is better in this particular question, so it's a win for Opus 4.1. Let's move on to another question. Now we are asking them to create state of the art Pac-Man game in Python. Let's see what they come up with. Okay, everyone, we have got the responses. Let's start off with Opus. We'll paste the code and we'll run it. Okay, we do have a nice Pac-Man board and I'm trying to move the Pac-Man, but it's not working. He's kind of stuck. The ghosts are moving correctly, but I'm not able to move the Pac-Man. So that is an issue. We'll keep that aside and let's try Sonnet 4.5. We'll paste the code and we'll run it. It says Pac-Man space to start. Now you can see I'm able to move the Pac-Man. The ghosts are also moving and it is a working response. You can see they are kind of chasing me as well. I can eat them as well if I take the power pellet. See, I'll take a power pellet and I'm able to eat them. So it is a comparatively better response and a win for Sonnet 4.5. Now lastly, we are asking them to create a music visualizer. Let's see how they do. Okay, everyone, we have got the response. Let's start off with Opus. We'll paste the code and we'll run it. Okay, we do see a black screen and it closes, so it's an error. I think we'll have to share this error, so let's keep this aside and let's look at Sonnet 4.5. We'll paste the code, we'll run it. We do see a black screen again and again an error. So we'll do the second iteration. Okay, we have got the updated response. Let's try Opus first. We'll paste the code and run it, and I hope this works. It says space to load a song, so we'll hit space and it crashed. So again, I think we'll have to move on to Sonnet 4.5. We'll paste the code and we'll run it. I don't see any kind of GUI, but it is giving me options in CLI. So I hit 3 and now I've opened up the finder. Let me find the song and try to play it. So I've selected this song. Let's hit open. Okay, it is working, guys. At least I don't know if the visualizer is actually following the music. It's kind of here and there. We can pause and play the music. You can see if I pause, the visualizer is still going on. So not a completely working response, but at least it didn't crash like Opus 4.1. It was working, but I mean the visualizer was pointless. So I don't want to give a point to Sonnet 4.5. So I will give 0 to both of them. Having said that, we are done with the testing. We tested 6 front-end based questions and 4 back-end questions. What is the results? So out of 6 questions, Sonnet 4.5 has got 5 points, whereas Opus 4.1 just got 2 points. You have to understand we are doing comparative analysis. That's the reason Opus has less points. If it would have been any other model, Opus would have got much more. Having said that, if you look at the Python based problems, we tested 4 questions and in 2 of them Sonnet was better, and in only one of them Opus 4.1 was better, clearly showing that Sonnet 4.5 is a better model compared to Opus 4.1, even though it is small and cheaper. And from the reasoning test already did in the beginning, it seems that it is better than Opus 4.1 when it comes to raw reasoning as well. It is absolutely awesome to see what these mid-tier models are able to do. I hope similar kind of thing happens with Gemini 3 Flash as well. I hope I was able to give you a thorough comparison so that you can understand which one to use. Also on my website, the best backend coding model and front-end coding model are going to get updated. I hope this information was helpful to you. If you liked this video, please to hit the like button, hype this video so that more and more people are able to watch this. That really helps the channel. Having said that, I'll catch you guys in the next one.